Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott. You, my dear friends, have wandered on to the #1 prog rock channel on all of YouTube. Yeah, it's the Prog Corner, according to me. And today, man, I got a good one for you. You saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. You know what we're doing here today. It's Geordie Greep, man, the great lead singer and guitar player from one of my favorite bands of all time, Black Midi. Oh, I love Black Midi so much. It broke my heart when they decided they were going to go on an indefinite hiatus. Earlier this year, they made the announcement. They put out 3 amazing albums. 2019's Schlangenheim, 2021's Cavalcade, and 2022 Hellfire. And then I guess that's it. We'll see, man. I don't know. But they clearly knew something was up because some of this album was recorded while Black Midi was still on their final tour. In fact, like half of it was recorded in Brazil while they were on tour in South America. And yeah, so Geordie Greep, yeah, he was the singer, guitar player for Black Midi. So there's no Cameron Picton here, but we do get the drummer Morgan Simpson on 3 tracks to try to, kind of make it feel a little bit more like Black Midi. Also on this album is Seth Evans, who was part of the last 2 Black Midi albums. He's been a touring member, important part of the band. No Mad Kwanzewski Keldon either. We miss his saxophone. But there's like a cast of 30 different people on this album. It's pretty weird. So what are we dealing with here? Well, if you know Black Midi, you know that Geordie Greep takes his cues from all kinds of wide, disparate types of artists. Anyone from Frank Sinatra to Frank Zappa, right? And everything in between. You hear a little bit of King Crimson. You hear a whole bunch of Steely Dan. There's a little bit of that, jazz rock kind of flavor. And like I said, about half of this album was recorded in South America, in Brazil, so it's got a real Latin jazz feel. There's some Samba-esque moments going on here to go along with the 40s and 50s crooner and the vaudeville stuff that Greep likes to do. This album came out last week, October 4th, on Rough Trade. It's 11 songs, 62 minutes. It was produced by Seth Evans and Geordie Greep. You do get Morgan Simpson on this album, which is always great news. He plays on 3 songs, including the first song, which is great. Just gets the thing going right away with the song called Blues. And yeah, it starts out really fast. And we don't get nearly enough Geordie Greep guitar on this album. I wish there were a little bit more, but there is a couple moments where he gets to show off and shine a little bit because he's a really, really good guitar player. People don't talk about it enough. This song was the second single, real fast, real cool. It starts out, you're all grown up. You've got your own stove and your own oven mitts. It's like, what? He's got a real bizarre sense of humor that is all the way through this album. Apparently, this album is just a bunch of creeps, right? Just a bunch of dudes that Geordie met at the bar, all these alpha male types, all these incels, alpha male wannabes. It's just crazy, the rogues gallery of just toxic masculinity all the way through this thing. It's crazy, man. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? That's your favorite turn of phrase. And then later on, he does, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? That's your second favorite turn of phrase. You come like 100 stallions, it's just crazy, all the locker room talk that's going on here. And Geordie wants to kind of, creep you out a little bit. There's a lot of shock value. A lot of the lyrics on here I can't say on my channel because I don't curse. And yeah, so it's nasty. It's X-rated. The Zappa influence is definitely there to try to get you thinking, right? Moving you in a different place. Geordie's real good at that. Second song is called Terra, and this is real Samba-esque. It's about the Museum of Human Suffering, and he's got all these different examples of suffering. And, to him, human suffering, this particular protagonist in this song seems to really like to make a big show of it. In fact, at the end of the song, he's like, hey, man, dig up my bones and make yourself a flute and start playing a flute. It's just weird. It doesn't make any sense. The third track is the first single, and it's amazing. It's called Holy Holy. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with Unholy, Sam Smith's great single, but this is a great, great song, man. It just starts out so frenetic with the guitar. And then you get into this real cool, like, pseudo dance groove going on. It's just awesome. Song's about a man, obviously, who's got delusions of grandeur. He keeps talking about everybody knows me from, the French Guyanese to the Cantonese. Everybody knows my name from Moscow to Tokyo to Havana. The interesting thing is that when he got down to Brazil and brought in all these Latin American musicians, none of them knew who he was. None of them had ever heard of Black Midi. So clearly there's, some satire going on here. He's talking about all these things he wants this girl to do for him, including, you need to help me look taller. Yeah, not going to happen. What a great song. Lots of energy, lots of fun. The next track, the fourth track, is the only instrumental on here. Is the title track. Very, very samba, bossa nova-y. It's fantastic. It's almost like South American Canterbury at points here. The Latin percussion is just all over the place. You listen to this on headphones, man. You got like bongos coming out of every orifice. It's awesome, man. Next up is a song called Walk Up. This has Morgan Simpson playing the drums, and this was, in fact, a Black Midi song called Lumps at one point. They were playing it live, and in fact, I think it made a live album. This is about an office worker, this, horrible, toxic dude who goes down on the street on his lunch break looking for sex from a sex worker. It's got the soft verses and then the real noisy, cacophonous choruses. Just awesome. And then you get a little country and western ending that I don't really understand, but it's a lot of fun. Next up is Through a War. This is a weird song. Starts with brass patch, so it sounds like you're, going into battle or something like that. And sure enough, this song about, this is written in the first person about some cat who's, coming into Europe after the Napoleonic Wars, and he's just, creating like this whole fiefdom for himself, and he starts to feel his power and his worth, and he's the only man with a gun around, so he, what he says goes. Have you ever seen a man beg for his life? Geordie asks Geordie. Why do I keep calling him Geordie? What are we doing? Is this a tragically hip review? Have you ever seen that kind of fear? Have you ever seen a man boiled alive? Have you seen him writhe and writhe and writhe and writhe? And then later on he's talking about, have you ever seen a father and son duel to the death? Have you ever had sex with the dead? Have you ever eaten human flesh? I mean, come on, man, what are you talking about? At the end of the song, he's just happy and fortunate that the girl of his dreams has given him an incurable disease so that he will always have something to remind him of her. Oh, that's crazy. Next up is a short little track called Bongo Season. It's the shortest song on the album, but apparently Geordie's been doing this live with his band and blowing it up to like 20 minutes, which is pretty awesome because this song doesn't really go anywhere, and it sounds like it really, really wants to because it's really cool. Next up is a different kind of track. It's called Motorbike. It's different in that you don't get a Geordie singing. This is Seth Evans sings on this track, and he's got like this low, deep, kind of weird voice, right? Morgan Simpson plays drums on this. This is a good track, man. I love the story. This guy meets a girl in town, and, would you want to hang out with me if you knew you wouldn't get caught? And at the end, he's like, you know what? I'm out of here, man. This town is whack. So he gets on his Yamaha motorcycle. He gets the heck out of Dodge, and then the last half of the song is just crazy noise rock. Awesome stuff. The next song is called As If Waltz, and man, I love this one. It's the second longest song on the album, and it is my favorite song on this album. That used to be Holy Holy, but the more I listen to this album, this song is so good, man. Yeah, and excuse me, it's in 4/4 throughout most of it. Actually, there are two waltz sections. The first one's really short, and then it goes into little more elongated waltz section, and then it finally comes out the other side with this really, really cool yacht rock kind of feel at the end. So good. The whole deal here is this is a cat dealing with another sex worker. He's having sex with a prostitute, and, he's talking about how that 1 hour he's with her is so great, but he's thinking, what if I had more than 1 hour with you, right? What could our lives be like? Another Despicable Man in a whole series of them on this album. The penultimate track is the longest song on the album. It's over 12 minutes long. It's called The Magician, and apparently this was another one that was in the Black Midi repertoire in the live set for a little while, particularly on that last tour. This is about, a guy who's, He's got sex problems. Wow. Big shocker there. He's got to pay his wife to have sex. It's the only way he can get aroused. The first 4 minutes of this song kind of meanders around like a Baroque pop kind of thing. And then you get to that 4 minute mark and it changes into this really cool chord progression that basically goes throughout the final 8 minutes of the song with, a couple little do-do-do-do, boom, do-do-do-do-do, throw it in there for good measure. But the chord progression is so good, I had to figure it out. It's A to E in the first inversion to G minor to F sharp minor to E. That's the chord progression. It just sounds so good because it's got that descending thing going on. Really great. It's taking place in the German Black Forest, something neither me nor Geordie know anything about. Such an amazing track. Oh, so good. And that leads you to the final song, which is called If You Are a Dream, which is an old song from the 40s, which apparently Frank Sinatra had a hit with back in the 50s. Appropriate because, Geordie definitely has this thing where he wants to be the new Frank Sinatra, and I'm okay with that, man. If Frank Sinatra was a prog guy, it would probably sound a little like Geordie Greep, especially if he had all kinds of sexual perversions and unworked out issues of that nature, because this album is just replete with just rife with all this nastiness, man. It is just a shocking album. It's a dirty album. It's talking basically about one thing across all its 62-minute runtime. This guy's got a one-track mind for sure. But when the music's this interesting, whatever, I don't care. The songwriting is super sharp here. A lot of times these songs are they sound so weird, but when you start actually breaking them down, that's just a verse and a chorus, but they're doing all this craziness in the middle. I love everything Geordie Greep has done so far. If this were a Black Midi album, it would probably be my second favorite one. But what's the score going to be for this on its own, a standalone score? I'm giving this puppy 9.5 out of 10, man. I like it that much. It is really, really good. Tomorrow I'm doing the top 20 prog albums from 2008, a fantastic year, an election year, so it's appropriate. Anyway, that's going to be tomorrow, and then we'll see what else happens. I'm in conversations with the great American 70s prog band Lift. Going to try to have Chip Gramillion from Lift on the show, talking about the reissue of their one and only classic album from the 70s called Caverns of Your Brain. It's just amazing. So we got a whole bunch of stuff to look forward to. Anyway, I love you guys. Peace in the Middle East. Free the Ukraine. Free Tibet. Free Willie. Free your mind. Free everybody. And God save the king. Save that cotton picker. Oh, that son gun needs your saving right now. Oh, yeah, that son bitch. Bring that boy to America. Oh, yeah. We know what to do. We can fix that boy up. Oh, we got the good saving going on over here with all our good pastoring. We got spells and incantations. We drink poison over here and we survive it. Yes, indeed we do. We got our prayer warriors working 24/7. Save that king. Save King Chucky. Oh, thoughts and prayers to the king. None of that's going to matter. Nope, not even a hill of beans. Hey, Billy Bob. Bust out them snakes. Oh, we know what to do. We're going to bust out them snakes. We're going to dance with some snakes. Oh, yeah, we will. And King Chucky will be just fine because we got the Spirit of the Lord protecting us every single minute of every single day, just like he does for me. He's going to do for you. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.